Open up that gate for me. Let me be free. Wrap up easily. Undecided for the throne. You just can't be left alone. All that anger in your tone. Keeping up appearances. My reach stops, my mind forbids. You know exactly what you did. And I'm calling today. You finally made me decide that I'm crazy. It's 8 a.m. and I pack and leave for the road. Would you go? The clock turns 9 and now it's time to leave the silly world behind my mind. Would you bring out the parlor tricks and break everything I fix and refuse to choose? Would you tear down the house right now and sell everything I found out of spite? For you, I buy a locket just to keep it around my neck, if not my pocket. For you, I'd search at high noon just to know you're safe beneath the moon. Careful this heart must beat. You seem to notice me. Brag about this love for two. Something bold and something true. Then again.
Well, hello, Internet. How are you? I'm Daryl Holloman, your host for A Story in the Song. And our guest this evening is the very soulful Karla. How are you, Karla?
I'm wonderful. And how are you, Daryl?
Oh, I'm doing well, just meandering through the horror of existence and dealing with the existential dread that goes along with being a sentient being. But enough about me. How did I meet Karla? Well, me and Karla have actually been competitors, or we are currently competitors. We've done Battle of the Bands, Battle of the Best, whatever you want to call it, with 1126 Entertainment. I've seen Karla play solo and with her band, Karla and the Fat Cats. And this is actually my first time ever hearing her original song. So, really excited about that this evening. Karla, you want to tell us about how you got into music? Did you start as a child? Did you start later in life?
Yeah, I guess I've been singing since I was, around 4. Probably like my mom always tells this horrifying story about me singing on the toilet or something like that. Just calling for my mom. But yeah, I've been singing a long time. Went to school for music education at Western Illinois University, and when I was young, I was in a performing group around Chicago, and did multiple different performances a year and different stages.
What kind of group was that? Was it a band?
It was called the Happiness Club.
Love it.
For kids, yes. Our acronym THC was a very different time, very different time. But yeah, we performed. I think there were about 40 kids in the group. It was maybe 12 to 15 singers, and the rest were dancers. So we did multiple things around Chicago and marches, parades. Went into inner city schools and participated with the then DARE program, I think, stuff like that.
THC in the DARE program.
Can't make this
now
up.
That's some subversive stuff right there. Love it.
Yeah, but I performed and sang for a long time with that group. Decided that music was kind of my forte and went in to pursue it. And kind of gave it up for a while, to be honest. I think, all musicians or artists in their own right kind of, if they don't feel a pulse in something, they kind of drop it a little bit.
Absolutely.
And
us artists are very temperamental.
Yes. And we need to have somebody, motivate us or give us, even angst, all that stuff. Being driven by other people. It all works. It's a circle, yeah.
So what motivated you to get back into music and go full force?
I was living in Korea, and my boyfriend and I broke up, and I moved back home, and I just said, I can do a 9-to-5 job or do something here, but I've gotta pick something up and make something that I can do, that I wasn't maybe easily available in the country, or wasn't, with my partner at the time, I wasn't really motivated to do, and kind of just having that drive come back from just life experience alone. And of course, going to where I ended up meeting you also at O'Neill's Pub. Yeah, we did that out there.
Let's before we get to O'Neill's Pub, let's go back to Korea. What were you doing there?
Yeah, I couldn't find a job after college as a music teacher, and I was, going to interviews down in southern Illinois, right out the border of Kentucky and in Paducah. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Sounds right? Yeah. And
I have no idea.
and just trying for these minimal music incorporated programs that maybe just started a year before at the school, and just trying to get my foot in the door, and I was totally unable to. And I kind of get I guess I get a little upset when I don't get something that I really want or really try for. So
or angsty.
Yes, I'm brutal on it. And yeah, I just said, I can't get a job in America, so I'm just going to move out of the country. And that's kind of what I did.
That's awesome. Did you enjoy your time in Korea?
I loved Korea. Korea to me is still like my home away from home. I think everybody has a home that they're born and raised in, but they get somewhere in their life and they go there and they're just like, oh, this is like where my soul is a little bit. And Korea for me totally had that all going for it. Beautiful country. The people were very warm and welcoming. Even to me as, a non-citizen, they really cared about me. And I made a lot of what I would call, like family members out there, core family members, people that just took me into their home and every New Year's or whatever the celebration was, just kind of wanted me to be a part of it. So, yeah,
That is
I loved
very
it.
interesting. So do you still go back and visit, or how
I
recently did you come back?
I came back in November of 2018, so it's been a little
Fairly
over a year.
recently,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
Yeah. So I had all 2019 here in America, in Illinois, and getting into 2020 now. Yeah. I have no real plans on moving back at all. I'm very happy here and with what I'm kind of getting set up and, striving for music. I miss it. It's like a dream, like a memory. You're trying to piece things together.
Oh
And,
yeah, that's basically what art is all about. Just trying to get what's in your head. In the case of music, getting what's in your head, putting it into the form of sound.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking of sound, these people on the internet that are watching at home, you have got to hear Karla's voice. It is full of soul. The first song we're going to do tonight is called All for Love. Now, what's that song about? I mean, obviously people can make their own inferences from the title, but is it about a specific time in your life, or is it more general?
I would say it's probably pretty recent. You just kind of meet certain people in your life that you feel a connection to, whether it be, a friendship, those are always hard in a breakup. Friendship breakups are, you hope that they don't happen, but if they do, they can be just as taxing as a relationship.
Absolutely.
I kind of wrote that one just inspired on the feelings that I had after really any breakup, where you kind of think about all the negatives and you're weighing things at the end and you're trying to come to the realization that you did the right thing, or the whole thing was supposed to take place. It wasn't a waste of time.
Try and make sense.
Yes. And in the end, you think about how, the title of the song, All for Love, I don't think it was so much that I would give all this stuff for love, but just like how much I was willing to throw away, all for love. Yeah.
Yeah, that's deep. Well, without further ado, we are going to play for you Karla's All for Love.
Open up that gate for me. Let me be free. Wrap up easily. Undecided for the throne. You just can't be left alone. All that anger in your tone. Keeping up appearances. My reach stops, my mind forbids. You know exactly what you did. And I'm calling today. You finally made me decide that I'm crazy. all for love. All for love. Whispers run right down the road. You're exactly as I told. All your answers leave me cold. Undecided for the throne. You just can't be left alone. All that anger in your tone. Undecided in the game, overridden by the pain. I'll just have to stay sane. And I'm calling today. You finally made me decide that I'm crazy. Many other times I would find a place for you in my heart. And every other time I knew you could not tell the truth from the start. But you got me thinking, my mind's got me sinking, all for love. You all for love. All for love.
Hello, internet world and intergalactic viewers and listeners. We are here at RiverSunStone Studios. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and our podcast, Story in the Song. There's also an Endeavor podcast hosted by the lovely Brian Christian Adam. Say hi, Brian.
Hey, how's it going?
That's enough out of you. Back to Karla. Karla, that was a beautiful song. Wasn't that a beautiful song, folks? Doesn't she have a great voice?
Thank you. Thank you.
So anyways, tell me about your songwriting process. Do you write down words first? Do you write down music first? Or do you kind of do it together? Or, combination of all of the above?
I wouldn't throw out a combination of all the above, but I would definitely say that I gear and focus more on chord progression or how I'm going to lay out the song. And then I've been, I guess, trying to fit the words as they come out of my mouth with the rhythm that I'm playing them with. So whether it's telling a story and then thinking of how I'm going to layer and texture the story, or if it's, just kind of stuff that comes to the top of your head. Sometimes the best songs just don't even make any sense. So I would hope that, in the future I'm able to kind of put these jargon and words and mumbles together and make a really cool sound. Yeah.
That makes me curious. You said you try and put the words that'll go along with the rhythm and the chord progression. One thing that I do when I'm writing songs is sometimes I will even count syllables per line. Do
Yes.
you do something like
Yes,
that?
yes. I would never be able to be a rapper because I'm just terrible with fixing all of the little quadruplets here and fix this and push this in, but I do definitely count syllables with how they go in and how they just groove together, I should say.
If you count syllables, you're actually a better rapper than most people that think they can rap. I have confidence that you could be a rapper if you wanted to, but obviously we all love to hear you sing. Now, I've heard you play solo before, but I heard covers of like alternative songs, mostly from the 2010s. I've heard you do "Pumped Up Kicks," love that one. "The Suburbs" by Arcade Fire.
Arcade Fire.
Yeah, I love all those songs, and I've also seen your band too, Karla and the Fat Cats, and that's a little bit different
Yes.
than your original music and your solo stuff.
Yes.
It's kind of funkier, kind of bluesier.
Totally.
So how did that band get together?
Well, the band getting together was through just pure invention of the open mic night. I would have never met any of those people, just anybody singularly together. Many of them knew each other before we started the band and had worked in previous bands and done gigs together, just known each other as a musician in the industry, around the area. I didn't know anybody really after coming back from Korea and was fortunate enough to get in at Ground Zero for like the first day of open mic. I met 3 or 4 people, and it just grew and progressed each week where I was meeting new people and we were kind of figuring out our sound together. I do play my acoustic set is very different than my Fat Cat set.
Absolutely,
Very different.
I agree.
Yes. My acoustic stuff is much simpler, maybe a little bit more bluegrassy or folky. And I think that just comes from not being limited on the chords that I can play or just overall being able to sing and play at the same time. Whereas with the Fat Cats, I'm able to work with their orchestration of what they're doing with the instruments and then focus it in on a sound. We really got this bluesy contemporary rock thing going.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
love the sound of the Fat Cats. I know you guys do mostly covers, but a lot of those covers you put your distinctive mark on it. Like it's definitely got a very mellow, chill feel. Like it's kind of music that you want to either smoke weed or make love to, like or do both at the same time.
Yeah.
But it is very different from your solo stuff. But your voice, I can't describe it. I can describe it as many things, but the word that comes to mind the most is soul. I think you got a lot of soul, and I think for the acoustic stuff, you take it in a folksy direction, but I still hear like Aretha Franklin in there, or Ronnie Spector, or any of the great soul singers of past, present, and future.
Yeah, it's a little taxing to do so many covers. In reality, you have to figure out what's best for the music and how not to cover somebody while trying to mimic them, or cover somebody and the worst case scenario do it worse than they do. So I think there's a lot of different components going on with covers and, you know, the band and stuff like that. It's a little bit easier to cover when you're just the guitarist up there because it sounds so different. It sounds so bare, so minimalistic. But when you're with a band, we're taking a lot of stride from different artists who have also covered pieces. We've been looking a lot at Pamplemousse, which does mashups to like an extreme end, and I love their stuff.
Pamplemousse.
Yes, I think it means
That's
like
fun to say.
pineapple in French or something. Grapefruit. Yes, grapefruit. That I knew it was a fruit. And I think pineapple's ananas or something. But we have to try to work out, you know, doing a version that's similar or doing something that's completely our own. So taking the tempo and slowing it down from what the usual bar chords would be on like something like I Put a Spell on You is, you know, where it kind of becomes individualized or making it our own.
Yeah, I love your version of that song. And there's one song that I typically hate hearing covers of. That's the No Diggity song. Every white boy with an acoustic guitar sings that song, and it all sounds like you know, what's his name, that British guy. But anyways, like when I heard your keyboardist Rodney playing the opening chords, and I didn't know it was No Diggity, but I was like, by the time the music started, I was hooked. And then you started singing, and I was just like, oh my God, am I loving this version of No Diggity? How did they do that?
Yep.
No, you guys have a lot of like you yourself have a lot of talent, and your bandmates from Karla and the Fat Cats really do a great job bringing your sound to another level. But let's get back to your original stuff. This next song we're gonna do is "Would You Fall." Now, is that supposed to be in a form of a question?
Guess maybe rhetorical, but
It's a rhetorical question.
Yeah, I think writing that one, that one's an older one, and I think writing it was storytelling, just pure storytelling in its best component about, you know, just packing up, just saying goodbye, that's it. And kind of wondering if you gave another chance and really let that person know, like, this is it, there's no more, you know, messing around, or there's no more taking me for granted, or whatever the case was. I just kind of sat on the idea of, like, would you have really gone through all this, you know, knowing the outcome, or would you fall for me, you know, what would happen?
Like, what do you mean by the word fall? Like, would you, like, are you asking the subject of the song, would you fall in love with me, or would you physically, literally fall down, or metaphorically?
I think it was a metaphoric fall, like Lucifer fall, like.
Oh, it's like a fall from grace. Okay.
Yeah, kind of something along those lines. At least that's the imagery that I think in my head when I sing it. You know, something that's so pure, something that's so made for a purpose, or, you know, this whole idea of love and how perfect it is at first, and when it just shatters in front of you, that feeling, and kind of asking the person ahead of time, thinking like in retrospect, like, would they fall for me? You know, would they hit their breaking point? Would they fix everything and then build it back up, or what?
And in that song, I noticed you use a lot of imagery of things actually falling. Like you mentioned broken glass, and throwing down china 3 feet deep, or there's one line where you're on the floor.
Yeah.
And so it definitely lots of imagery that suggests falling or just going down. But anyways, we're going to let you tell the story the way it's meant through song, because this is Story in the Song, filmed at RiverSunStone Studios. Without further ado, here is Karla with Would You Fall? Cut.
It's 8 a.m. and I'm packing to leave for the road. Would you go? The clock turns 9 and now it's time to leave the silly world behind my mind. Would you bring out the politics and break everything I fix and refuse to choose? Would you tear down the house right now and sell everything I found out of spite? And right, would you fall? Well, I'm open-eyed and driving high, and I'm thinking of things to do on my own, all alone. You were once so near, so dear to me, and I'm thinking of things that you didn't notice about me. All low-key. Would you bring out the guns right now and shoot it out in ash and cloud and fight through the night? Would you even care that I'm not there and still talk about me to the mirror like I'm wrong and gone? Would you fall? Would you fall? Now these rolling hills should give me thrills, but I'm occupied on why I didn't stay through the day. And I cried about it in my sleep. Did you hear me last night as I weep all night long? Hear my song. Would you sweep the glass up at my feet as I break the china 3 feet deep on the floor? Broken wall. Would you stare me down when I'm on the ground till I opened up and come
And here we are again at RiverSunStone Studios. This is the Story in the Song podcast with our guest this evening, Karla. I am your host, Daryl Holloman, and in the studio off camera, we have Uber producer Chris Tobin and also Uber producer Brian Christians Adam. Anyways, internet, would you fall? Would you? It's a rhetorical question. Don't answer that, internet. Anyways, Karla, so you work in education.
I do.
So what do you do? Do you teach?
I teach some private lessons. I'm actually I consider myself, musically talented, different things. I can teach a couple different instruments, not too well, mostly vocals, little piano.
Where are all the instruments you play, or that you can noodle around with? If you can noodle around with it, it counts.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm generally more geared towards piano side and guitar. But when you go through music education, at least in the state of Illinois, you have to take lots of different instruments. So I've played and taught lessons on everything from trumpet, bassoon, oboe, clarinet, violin, cello, all those kinds of fun things. Yeah.
Wow.
But don't ask me to play them because it's awful.
But you said you play piano.
Yeah.
Do you ever write songs on the piano?
Yes, I need to bring a keyboard into my boyfriend's house so I can actually, noodle around. But there's something so beautiful about just a nice piano. I like upright pianos. I
So you
that
like the
whole,
weighted keys?
Yes. It's beautiful, and it makes you feel like you're, I don't know, it's so tangible in front of you. Everything's laid out, all the, keys and everything, and just see everything visually in front of you. You can orchestrate.
Yeah, it's like a repeating pattern.
Exactly. You can
you
orchestrate
can play
that
the
way.
same thing anywhere on the keyboard, but you jump up an octave, like it adds drama.
Yes. Much easier because it's so percussive. You can really just play around and figure out. I don't know. I guess I would take the monk approach and no wrong notes, just like nice accidents.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that line of thinking.
You're only like a half step away from the right one or something similar to it, right?
So you taught a lot of lessons. You teach an after-school program?
I do. I teach private lessons here and there in music and art, and then after school for the kids in just the suburbs over in Glen Ellen, I teach at a school that has an after-school program for students in ESL and maybe they're ELL learners, so English is a second language. Many of them are refugees and their parents have come over and they don't necessarily speak English the best, or don't speak any English at home. So the after-school program is there for them to, read with tutors or volunteers or teachers and really get a grip on homework, bilingual studies if they're studying Spanish also, and just different things like that to kind of make sure that the foundation is set so they have a better opportunity for what they're going to learn in the future.
That sounds like you're doing great work, and you reminded me, you're also a very talented artist.
Well, thanks.
Tell the internet people, the internet world about the other art that you engage in.
Yeah, I consider myself a oil painter, and I dabble around in watercolor and gouache and all those fun acrylic things, but I always go back to oil. I just did about a year ago, I did a speed painting competition and won for Chicagoland, speed painter. and was sent out to LA for like a whole competition out
Cool.
there for it. So that was fun.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So well, I don't know about now. It's been over a year, but I was the reigning Chicago speed painter champion.
No way. That's
yeah.
freaking awesome. So not only are you a talented singer, musician, and teacher, you're also a very
It's all
talented
the one side of the brain.
I've
Yeah.
seen some of your paintings that you showed on Facebook, and I'm sure if you send Chris some pictures of your
Yeah.
painting, we'll
Yeah,
have
I'll be
them
happy
in the
to.
background.
Totally.
Because, folks, I hate to break the fantasy for you, but this is just a green screen behind us. We're not actually in outer space.
That's great.
But anyways, our last song of the evening is called For You. Now, obviously, you can infer from the title that the song is for somebody. Mm-hmm. So is it for everybody that listens to it, or did you have somebody specific in mind, or is it just, is it something completely different than that?
Well, I'm under the mentality that when singing, and maybe when I would hope, at least I hope I haven't been thinking wrong my whole life, but when you hear the word you on the radio or in a song, you don't necessarily think it's you. You actually just take those words and pretend like it's your inner monologue. So it becomes the same projection that the artist is singing. You might not be singing it, but for you would also mean the person listening to it is thinking about somebody else for you. So this song was written I wrote it for two people getting married. I was living in
Did you sing
Korea.
it at their wedding?
I did.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. The marriage didn't last, but
The song still lives
The
on.
song lives
the song
on.
lives on. Marriage, civilizations rise and fall, art and music outlast them all.
yeah. I wrote it for a wedding, and it was just kind of something to say to the person that you love, all these things that you would do for them. And I wasn't trying to think of buying material things, but just kind of the poetic nature of what you could do for a person if you could change it that way. I talk about painting the sky the same color of their eyes, and buying a locket with their picture, and just little things like that are sentimental, I guess. The sentimental things of a wedding. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, internet world, this has been another episode of Story in the Song, and we're going to take you out with For You by Karla. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, RiverSunStone Studios, Story in the Song podcast. We also do an Endeavorist podcast. And without further ado, I already said that. I know, internet, I know. Here is For You by Karla. It's for you. Bye.
For you, I buy a locket just to keep you around my neck, if not my pocket. For you, I'd search at high noon just to know you're safe beneath the moon. Careful this heart must beat. You seem to notice me. brag about this love for two. Something bold and something true. Then again, I always knew it was you. For you, I'd paint the whole sky just to know it matches with your eyes. For you, I'd drive the whole night if it only meant to say good morning, right? Careless in love, they say. Can't measure love that way. Take everything I own. Let's make this house a home, and together we can roam. Never alone. You asked me once, but I told you twice. Love's hard, doesn't come easy, but it's worth the sacrifice. For you, I'd write a whole song if I only knew you'd sing along.